Hello everyone, today I'm going to be doing another study of the arm, part 2. So in this video what I'm going to essentially doing is I'm going to be showing my process of how I'm learning. Like I'm just essentially going to be learning how to draw the arm. I'm not really teaching anything, I'm just like sort of showing or documenting my process of how I learn to draw the arm. And I'm going to do it here. And today we're just going to look at partially flexed muscle, where in the last video what we looked at was the basic muscles that actually encompassed the drawing of the arm. And so we're going to try and apply that information in this video. So I'm going to use this references and kind of start work. I'm going to position them and then I'm going to highlight the muscles using my reference here. I'm not doing anything from like memory. I'm here to learn, so I'm just going to put it here, and this is how I learn whenever I'm approaching anatomy. I just copy what I'm seeing, and the first study where I just drew the forms and highlighted the muscles, and now I'm going to that muscle. It's not in my head fully. Of course there are some muscles that are in my head already, but it's not fully there, so I'm just going to study over and over again to I'm comfortable with the sort of level of knowledge or understanding that I have of the muscles there. So that's just what I'm going to do here. It's coming like this. Whether it's figure drawing you're doing or anatomy studies or structure studies, whatever it is you're doing, or when you're starting out learning as a complete beginner, even things like portraits, when you're doing the planes of the head, this is a very useful exercise to do. At least for me, that's what I do. I just trace it out and then I get to work, and eventually I get better. I think there's the brachialis, if I'm remembering correctly. Triceps muscle over here. Tricep muscle or three-headed muscle. So we're seeing the three heads, 1, 2, 3, I believe. Right, and then what do they call this muscle again? It's called brachioradialis and extensor carpi radialis. The two muscles there. Wow. It's too blended, man. Let's just make it blue. Yeah, they're actually two, so let's add one more, make it purple. So if you look at this drawing I did here, that's just two different colors. I should probably be doing a bit better with that. I'm just going to put that this color. It kind of seems dumb, but like tracing over it and then looking at the muscles over and over again, it just makes it stick. And this is something I've tried several times and it seems to keep working, man. What's next? There's a muscle coming out from there. Extensor digitorum, right? I think. And then let's do one more. Flexor carpi. There's just yeah, and then there's one more. Palmaris longus, or at least that's the name. I'm just going to put that there. There is a space somewhere. Where is that? Abductor pollicis. Abductor pollicis. I'm just going to walk over here. Now it's time for us to do our own drawing. So for me, the way I start all my drawings, I start with a structure. So that could be something like this. Something to quickly simplify the muscle for me, or the drawing that I'm about to undertake. So, and like I always, like I try to say and try to live by this advice, it's not that deep whenever you're studying. Yes, we're studying anatomy and we're trying to get it correctly. Let's just be honest. I personally, I'm not going to remember all these muscles, but I'm going to have a bit of muscle memory like when I do these studies, like about how I tackle these muscles and how I draw them. Like once I do these studies over and over again. And like I said, you shouldn't feel so stressed about it because if you're committed to improving or you're committed to learning, you're always going to get better and you're always going to, do more studies eventually. Always remember the form whenever you're doing these studies. The form is usually very important. And as much as we're looking at structure, form is just as important. Like just take note of this counterbalance. This guy not that important. Right. So what did they call this guy again? Something extensor carpi brachii, something like that. And then yeah, and then this guy over here. All right, so we have this guy here. This is a different view. Let's see what we got. Okay. All right. So we have the chest. Clavicle there, just for laughs and traps. And then the deltoid. I don't think I got that well. I'm just going to do it like this. And then the biceps poking out like this. Yeah, we're not doing that, man. We're leaving this where it belongs. All right, so let's go to the nitty gritty. Nitty gritty. I think I left it. What am I doing? Okay. And one more view. Tranquilo. Okay. All right. It's I draw like this. Very long, very long. Although I can't lie, the tricep is one of the coolest looking muscles. Now just look at this weird looking area there. What did that do? Let's do like this. I don't see my fuck up. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. That was a bit tricky for a minute, but I think we handled it well. Yeah, I think this is good. This is good for now. I'll see you in the next video. Please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't. There are more videos coming up, and I'll see you in the next video. In the next video, probably I might look at a bit of tutorial, but let me see what I have out of the screenshots that I've done. I have more muscles like in similar angles and stuff. I don't know if I'm going to be too bored to do it or not. Although these angles are looking fun to do, but I don't know yet. I think I'm just going to go on YouTube and then I'm going to look at maybe something like a Proco video or a David Finch video, and I'm going to see what they did there and try to replicate it, look at their studies and then copy what they did there. Maybe just to make it a bit more interesting rather than it being because to be honest the studies can get boring, but I've spent about 2 hours in total doing this study and this study, so 2+ hours in total doing this study and this study. Ideally this is enough. Like you could spread this across the week if you are just studying for arms. That's what I would suggest, that's what I would advise, because life is not just about one thing. To do other fun things in your life and in art. So the next video definitely will involve something else, and then maybe after that video I'll probably then handle this. So that is how I study. Sometimes it can be a bit exhausting, so you could spread it out in terms of days, so that by the end of the week I'm going to be better at drawing the arms, and memorize some muscles as well. So that'll be it for now, and I'll see you in the next video.